Welcome to another edition of Africa Sideways. My name is Big Six Simpson and we're coming to you from one of the best selling cars in South Africa in 2021, the Haval Jolion. Just picked it up from the dealership for review, and the lady there says they can't make enough of this stuff, they run out of stock. Now that is always a good sign for a vehicle. We're out here in Betty's Bay, ladies and gentlemen. Got a bit of gravel, so we're going to start off on the gravel, and I'm very impressed. All around, this car is very, very well made. It all works. The 86 had more power, more space, but this just works better. And I think they're going to sell a tremendous amount of these cars. Comes with a sunroof. You can give it a bit of a go. Visibility is great, handling is great, power is adequate, handling is on point. Let's put it through the puddle here, and it just sails through there. Really is a joy to drive. Where on earth are we off to, ladies and gentlemen? Just doing a bit of exploring here. But anyway, very impressed with this, and I think it's 350,000 Rand for this particular vehicle. 1.4 litre, and just the right amount of power. It doesn't quite lay in the back of the seat, but pretty close to it. It really does do the business on this gravel here. You can drive it with some abandon. Got Apollo tyres on here. I would be tempted to put a better set of tyres on. Certainly does what it says to back it. There it is. And where we're going, we're making good time. Soaking it up. Pretty good clearance on this, so almost 200 mils. So it will get you places, which is this one is getting me places. Loving these roads. And on the highway it's also very, very smooth, pretty quick as well. You'll do 280 kilometers an hour, and this 0 to 100 in about 10 seconds. So it's all the performance you really need in a vehicle. Now we're back on the tar. Jam it around the corner, and now that's an adequate turning circle. Heavy on the power. Ooh, that sounds really good. Let's give it a go down here. One of the things I like about this car the most is it's not a big beeper. A lot of the modern cars beep, and you know it's a bit of a hassle. But it gives you a lot of information. It's got great cameras, so rather give me information than beeps, and I'll be great with it. It's got the full suite of electronic aids, which I prefer to turn off. The one thing, the difference between this and the 86 is when you turn the electronics off in this, it doesn't remember for next time, but in the 86 it remembers your settings. So it would be nicer if they could remember the settings. It would be a nice touch. Let's see how it does over the speed humps. Yeah, that's not too bad. Give it a bit of power, and we've hit the dead end. Let's give it the patent. It's 32-point turn. The camera system is really, really good on this car. Same as the 86. The Chinese really do get the cameras right. And it's got this, I'm not sold on the gear on this gear lever thing. Sometimes when you want to put it into reverse, it goes into drive and vice versa. But it feels nice, and once you get used to it, it should be fine. Wonder where this goes. We're just having a bit of an explore, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, very, very comfortable on gravel, this car. Beautiful. In terms of an all-round package for a compact SUV, this takes a lot of beating. I would like to see an all-wheel drive version of this with a center diff and a 2-inch lift. I think it would be pretty good off-road. And this has got the same lemon chassis as the 86. Handling is on point. Not a particularly heavy car, so it just works. And then you can give it a bit of berries. And then if it thinks you're driving a little bit too sweatily, it'll go tick, 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 just to let you know. Okay, back on the highway. It's quite a high revving engine. It's got this electronic speedo, which I'm not a great fan of. I prefer the manual one. In fact, some of the settings it does remember. I must take that back, because it has the hologram up here, which I took off. So not entirely true that it forgets all of your settings. Let's see how it is off the mark. Bit of tire squeal. That's 70. That's 100. I mean, that's pretty quick, 0 to 100. That's adequate. And then you just keep it there. No need for heroes. So here at highway speeds, quite quiet in this gearbox. The one thing is it's got this lane assist that's one of the features that does turn itself back on. So I recommend turning that off, because you're always kind of slightly wrestling the wheel. So then you go here, you go driving, lane assist. Okay, now it's off. Because before, if it goes there, it bounces you there, but I've noticed this on a lot of cars. The technology isn't quite 100% there yet. Hey, but you can turn it off if you want. So let's open it up a bit. Oh, that sounds really good. And then when you get to the speed limit, it'll give you a little beep saying, "Cool it, China." So this is the 7-speed auto. I'm very impressed with the gearbox on this car. It really does work a treat. That's for shizzles. Okay, let's see what the overtaking is like. So you can belt it in, and that turbo starts singing, and she's off. Very, very groovy, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of fun with Jolion. I think they're going to sell a lot of product. So who's this aimed at? It's aimed at a lot of people, guys, girls, families with 2 kids. There's plenty of space in there, boot space. So it really does have you covered, and it comes in a little bit cheaper than the Japanese cars, which this isn't actually on pure build quality. This is, in my opinion, without knowing what it's going to be like in 10 years time, it feels as good as a Honda or a Toyota or a Mazda, which the Chinese cars couldn't quite get that refinement. They couldn't get into that conversation on quality, but this feels well made. I like, it's got buttons here, it's got the whole suite of doofies. Air conditioning is very, very strong, and the handling is on point as well. Let's give it a bit of tickle around the core here. Oh, it's singing. very good. I have noticed in the past sometimes the Chinese cars' brakes aren't really on point, but brakes on this car are really, really good. And great for a road like this, Clarence Drive, one of the most beautiful roads in the business. So what's the competition for this car? Yeah, well, most of the main manufacturers have a compact SUV. Toyota has the HRV, Toyota has the CXR or whatever the hell, I don't know all these acronyms. They're pretty similar cars. And then you have the Mazda CX-5, the BMW X1 and 3. So a lot of competition for this vehicle, but this isn't becoming in cheaper than the competition. And dare say better. I didn't think I'd say that about a Chinese car, but I'm very impressed with this. Does the business. On-road, off-road, well priced. Haval's starting to get a good dealer network. They're partnering up with Thorpe's. So they are ticking a lot of boxes, and then they're coming in sort of 50 grand cheaper than the competition with great styling. They got the Land Rover designer from a couple of years to come onto Haval, so it really is a pretty car. Turns heads, drives well, pretty economical. So what's not to like about this car? I haven't really found anything that I don't like. It's got this beep when you get to the speed limit. It beeps, which I haven't worked out how to take off, but I was able to take that off on the older X6. Maybe it's just a matter of hunting around. But that is a good safety feature, just to let you know that you're on the right speed. So all in all, a fantastic vehicle. And I do notice differences between the H6 and the Jolion. It's not just a smaller version of the H6. It feels like a completely different car. It's got, in my mind, a better LCD and infotainment system than the H6. Easier to operate, simpler. Seats are very comfortable. Banging air conditioning, and the sound system is really, really strong. Let's give it a hoof. There you go. Yeah. So I can see this car being popular with young people, popular with old people. It really is a good road trip vehicle as well. It'll get you places. It's got a bit of clearance. So what's not to like about the Jolion? Nothing. I can't guarantee what it's going to be like in 10 years time, because that's to be confirmed, but I think this is the shifting of the sands in the compact SUV market, quite honestly, and I can see why they sold out of product, because this product is extremely good, and it's got performance, price, looks, comfort and functionality. It does have the electronic handbrake, which I don't like on any car, because it's an emergency brake, so you want to be able to pull something up in case you have an electronics malfunction or something to that effect. Let's try the sunroof out. Long sunroof, goes all the way back, and then you got this. So all in all, the new Haval Jolion, sure, out of 10, my Africa Sideways rating, this is pushing a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because I don't know what the reliability is going to be like long term. Because I've got a friend who's got the Great Wall Motors Steed Bucky that was made 10 years ago, and he's having a few issues with it. So, but that's not to say they haven't raised their game since then, and this is a superior product. It all feels very, very well made. The buttons are good. You can do the aircon. You got that, home, radio, telephone, no sat-nav in here, but everything you need, and you got your Vibe Master. So these buttons feel well made. The whole car feels well made, to be honest.